Oh no! The tentacle monster! It's laying waste to the Steam library! Godzilla's here to save us! Ah! Oh, hey there! Welcome to the show. My name's Kurosh, and here we like to talk about video games, video game impressions, reviews, and everything in between. And I like to put an emphasis on independent games, independent game developers, and the games that they make. And with today, we're going to be reviewing a very special game that I am excited to talk about with some of my favorite kaijus. We're going to be talking about GigaBash. You might be asking, what is GigaBash? Let me tell you. GigaBash is a game that I had the good fortune of getting a chance to see at PAX West in 2023 in the Washington area. I was walking through the aisles with my buddies, checking out all these different indie games, and lo and behold, I see what kind of just was speaking to me on all fronts. I just see this crowd forming around this booth, and they just had Godzilla, they had Ultraman, they had a bunch of other kaijus, and it was just this brawl fest. And that's what GigaBash is. It is like a 4-player, multiplayer, party-style game that lets you just brawl it out, much like kind of like a Super Smash Brothers, kind of like a Godzilla Destroy All Monsters, if you're familiar with the GameCube days. And you just go to town. You have a good time. Everyone's trying to fight to be the last standing kaiju, and that's the basic premise of the game. It kind of builds off of that fundamental. And so with that, I'd like to kind of just go over all of the different areas, and I got a chance to talk to the developers. Actually, one of my prior videos is an interview with one of the developers and what that process was like for them. Because I did see a lot of original IP work, and I saw a lot of characters that I was familiar with, like my friend here, Godzilla. So that's largely what the game is. It's been available and continues to be available on every platform I believe that is that could be played on. It's on Steam, it's on all the consoles and everything. And you can play up to 4 players for this game. I think that captures largely what it is GigaBash. Let's kind of get into what I particularly enjoyed besides the obvious. What did I like about this game? This game, first and foremost, the obvious, I have to just state it, is it has kaiju. I'm a huge kaiju fan. It has brawling, fighting. I'm a big fighting game combative type of game fan. Whether it be in the traditional sense of a 1v1 with like a Street Fighter or a Tekken, to the brawling style where it's like WWE or pro wrestling style games. Cody, you better finish the story. But you can range from those, and so I love all those types of games. It's very fun. So when they mixed kaiju with that style of game, I was just like, this is my perfect recipe for the type of game I enjoy. Outside of that, what I really enjoy is just how much it lets you get into the combative, destructive kind of state that kaijus would lend themselves to. It utilizes a variety of fighting styles in how they have the different kaijus and mechs and different just larger than life creatures that they have. Everything from a snow abominable monster that kind of has like a Kirby-esque quality to him, to a plant fungus monster that's just wreaking havoc. And then you have like your Ultraman and your Godzilla, which are IPs that they've actually collabed with. So I thought all of that combination was really cool. How they made each one of them uniquely different from each other was also something I appreciated. A lot of times you see games like this where it's just the same 5 hits on any, and you just choose a different skin. But they really took the time to make each monster and character that's available to play with feel uniquely playable. Each one plays very differently. Not only do they have like the collab IPs that draw you and that caught my eye, they have the Mech Godzilla, they have the Destroyer, they have the Godzilla. They also had their own original IP work. There's an actual building, like a skyscraper building. I think that's a play off of a parody of other kaiju films that I've yet to see on my to-do list. But you can play as this building monster thing. So it's very bizarre, it's very outlandish, but that's like, it embraces that, and I love that about it. Now I want to take a second to talk about what I'd like to change and or improve with a game like this. I would say there's not much I think that it was lacking. It was more what I would want more of, what I would want to see them develop and grow out of this game. I think that, let's start with the easy stuff. I love the collabs that they've gotten. I want more of it. When I was talking to them, I was kind of like, well, what kind of IPs would you guys love to mess with? And they took the words right out of my mouth in terms of what they wanted to do, and it was like stuff in the Guillermo del Toro realm of Pacific Rim. I'd love to see the Godzilla -1 stuff. I'd love to see Gamora. I'd love to see, I don't know exactly if it falls into the same realm, but I feel like it would fit well within the genre. But like any of the Power Ranger type of stuff would be super cool to see here too, given that they have Ultraman and some of that. Any of those collabs that they can manage to work with, I would love to see in this game. I think it would lend itself really well. Outside of that, I think I'd love to see other types of modes being offered. I think it'd be really fun taking a note out of like the old games back in the N64 days of Rampage, of just seeing like, oh, who can destroy the most of a given region, or other types of little mini games that could just be fun little add-ons, just kind of playing on the element of these larger creatures that just causing chaos and destruction. Or maybe even other game modes. Like, I know they have a couple that are in there besides the basic, brawl, deathmatch kind of thing, but I'd love to see just more playing with that. And lastly, I think the other cool thing I would love to see is not just having their own IP, not just having collabs, but allowing the user to maybe create their own kaiju or Ultraman-esque character that they could personalize or kind of customize to some degree. I don't know how far I would lean into that, because I think as you go into more, if it were to go too far into RPG elements, but I'm thinking, I guess, in the way that a pro wrestling game has a create a character mode, something of that ilk, where you can create this fighter and just put a few movesets onto them, added your own stylings to it, and make these bizarre creations that just are playable in this space. They have a lot of options there from what I've suggested. I'm sure they're thinking of their own ideas, but I would love to see any of these implemented going forward. And I think now I would say, let's go into my overall thoughts. Who would I recommend this to? I would recommend this game to anyone who's a fan of the kaiju or monster world space, looking for a party style game. This is a game that I think was most emphasized on how you would have fun with friends. With, you're having friends over, you're playing some quick rounds, you're having family over, you're playing split screen on the TV. I think that's where you're going to see this game flourish. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this to anyone who's looking for like a single player experience, but I think it very much kind of makes itself evident of like what style of game it is in that regard. But I don't think it really has a strong suit in the world of going through like a campaign of any sort. It's more, hey, come over, let's collab. It's very arcadey, and I think that's my overall recommendation for this. I would say this game sits at a solid B+ for my review. I think there's a lot. It's doing great. I love what the genre is, and I love what it's doing. I would like to see it kind of fleshed out more and building upon this foundation that they've done such a good job putting together. That's my review of GigaBash. Let me know what you think. Let me know which kind of characters you'd love to see in this world, in this space. And let me know how many times you saw Godzilla -1 in theaters, because I know it broke my wallet. All right, have a good one, everyone. Bye.